I'm doing a brake job on a 2012 Buick Verano. So for starters, you have to put your parking brake in service mode. So if you hold down your button, you'll see um, your yellow lights flashing on the right hand side of the dash. And as soon as that happens, you press down your parking brake again, and it goes into service mode. Make sure that you hang the caliper piston with a bungee cord or a rope and do not let it just freely hang, as that can damage the hose lines. Next, what you'll want to do is get the rotor off. So I always start by tapping around the inside, not actually hitting the bare metal surface, but just more around that hub area. And then I take a piece of wood and move it around the rotor, just moving your rotor around freely. If you're doing it in the front, it's a little bit different just because it's not going to turn if you don't have the whole front end up. But just moving it around and and getting that rotor off. I always like to clean off my rotors with some brake clean. Um, just wipe them off. And then what you'll want to do with your caliper bracket, replacing all the hardware, just take a wire brush in there, clean out all the grooves, put your hardware in there, and grease it up with your brake grease. Next, you will put your new rotor back on with the torque bolt. Now you'll have to push your piston in, your caliper piston. So you do have to use a tool, and for this Verano, it is turning them in. You can't just push them in. So you have to use ones with the knobs on the pad and turn them in. So I have a tool that I use for it to push that piston in. Now what you'll want to do is pull the pins, your slide pins, out of your caliper bracket and make sure that you grease those. That way they slide well in and out when your piston's pushing. So now you'll be able to put your bracket back on. And I always like to throw some anti-seize onto the bolts. That way, the next time you go to do the job, it's a little bit easier to get those bolts off. So that's what I'm doing here, is just putting some anti-seize onto those bolts while putting on that bracket. Just to get some leverage in there to tighten the bracket bolts, I did use a pipe just to extend it. I don't have a long enough ratchet, so this was kind of my fix. Just make sure that you don't over tighten and snap the bolts or have it so that it's too hard to get off next time. Now you'll be able to put your pads into that bracket, just making sure that they're going the right direction. One, making sure that your ceramic pad is actually up against your rotor, and then also the way that these are, it has a little silver peg that goes on the back side of your rotor, that just making sure that that's on the back. And here I just greased it a little bit more, just because the little packet that it was given in the kit just was not enough, and I liked the other stuff that I'd bought. So after your pads are placed in there, you'll be able to put your piston back over top of your caliper bracket and over your pads, and put those bolts in there, just making sure that for your bottom one that you're going to be tightening that with your wrench, and then the top one you'll tighten with your socket. this little nipple right here, where it has the black cap over the top, that is where you will be bleeding your brakes. So have the reservoir open, have someone else press down on the brakes if you don't have a bleeder tool, and then loosen that nut. It will pour out brake fluid. When it hits the floor, tighten that nut up. That's why it's nice to have a second person. And then you do that until you have good pressure. And then also, if you have bad fluid in the lines, it will be coming through as clear fluid. And that is all. Just make sure that everything is tight. Your 4 different bolts, making sure that your bleeder screw, that is tight as well. And then you are able to put your tire back on, torque your tire lugs back to spec, and you are all good to go.